2 items to add to the agenda. Julie wants to come up on a consumer update at 9 o'clock, and Warren wants on the agenda. Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda? Now, may I have approval?
So moved with those additions.
Motion's been made by Gallagher, second by Smith. Roll call. Gall.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
And Dearborn, aye. At this time, we had started this program where we are giving certificates out for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And today we have Hap, or Russ Dearborn. No relation of mine. Don't count that last name the same. For 20 years, on the 30th day of January 2015. So we'd like to present you with this certificate, Hap. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We don't furnish the frame, so you got to pay that.
So I'm already in debt.
Yeah, you're behind the 8 ball. Thank you.
Thanks,
How's it
Al.
going so far?
It's going.
Good.
I haven't pulled all my hair out yet.
So
I know the feeling. I knew that was
you for
coming.
quite a while there,
Thank you,
man.
man.
Good to see you. How you been?
Thanks, Al.
Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.
Minutes. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented?
Move the minutes.
Okay, the motion's been made by Kaufman. Is there a second motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Smith. Roll call. Kaufman.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Gall.
Aye.
And Dearborn, aye. Claims. Any questions on the claims? If there are no questions, may I have approval of?
So moved.
Okay, motion been made by Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gall. Roll call. Smith.
Aye.
Gall.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Dearborn, aye. Statewide drainage, we'll wait for John to come back on that. Discussion action regarding the appointment of the case management, mental health, and disability services board of directors. Does anybody want to serve on that?
On case management?
Yeah, that's for the state. I'm not going to.
And she wanted me to make
What
sure you
does
know
it
wasn't
entail?
mandatory.
A lot of meetings. I don't know. Wait, Julie will be up when we check. Talk to her.
Can I talk to Julie first? I don't like it.
You'll be fine.
No, the way you guys are all smiling, I think I want to talk to Julie first.
Talk to Julie.
Good choice.
Okay, we don't want to do anything on the budget till John comes back up from the public hearing downstairs. Any committee reports?
Yeah, I can go ahead and be on what we've been doing this week. Yesterday, the county engineer and I went to Des Moines and we lobbied for the transportation day to try and raise fuel tax. And the main reason that is a lot of counties are having to go to bonding now, where all property owners would have to pay for it rather than it being a user fee. And we think that there's probably enough support that it's going to go through. It's pretty bipartisan. There are a few that are kind of holding out, but most of those are borderline towns that are competing for gas sales and other sales that are right on the river. Otherwise, everybody has been pretty favorable on it. I really think it will go through as long as it's just a straight flat 10 cents and not anything else put on it.
They're proposing to go 10 cents right away, not 3, 3,
It'll
4.
be 10 cents right away,
Good.
and you will probably see the funds start trickling back within 2 to 3 months, I said. It would be that quick, yeah. And it will be done at the same percentages that our road use already comes back at. So whatever that percentage is for cities, counties, and
21.
state roads, that's it.
No fees. I don't want any fees.
No fees.
This would be a good time
It's
to do it,
just-
because I see what gas went down to 4 cents a gallon.
It's just that, and I think they're trying to get it to move through now before they start getting into more controversial issues and there becomes more well, I'll vote for this if you vote for that. And I think they're trying to get this through as quickly as possible. They're talking maybe even by next week. Then we got back here about 4:30, and then John and I went to RC&D last night. I found it very informative. I don't think that our county utilizes it as much as they probably should. I don't know that they're even aware of it. I know before I got on this board, I didn't even know that it existed as a county service. So, I think it's, and I don't think the gal that was here really clarified everything that they do. In some ways, I think they could be more helpful possibly even than Sedco. I'm just gonna say that I think for the money that we spend on it, I don't have a huge issue with it, so.
Any other committee reports?
I had Iris yesterday. Wasn't a lot. Here's the financials. Kind of interesting. Center Junction project. The city voted to discontinue that system. A petition is circulating to keep that water system in place, and they want Iris to take over that system. Jones County would like Iris to take that over. They have 60+ users. They charge them $50 a month for water only. As far as the project, no issues. Andover project, they have 50 customers on the water system. They had huge issues with it quite a while ago with rust, things like that. They put in a pretty good filter system, and since then the water quality is really good. Other than that, no issues. Fairview project, grinder pumps seem to be working pretty good for the last 3 months, which is kind of a surprise to them because they've had some issues with that. Leisure Lake project, they have 310 customers. System's working well, and they don't have any issues with the grinder pumps. And that's really about all I've got.
Okay, John?
I don't know how much was covered by you or not covered by you on that.
I
Parks
filled
and
them
Rec.
in on some of the stuff. I didn't bill them on everything as far as what you guys are actually doing. I just said that I found it very educational.
Okay. The University of Iowa Collaborative Project, the agreement has been signed. They've been added to the insurance. We're being set up as a vendor also at this point. There's a Parks to People project going on in Jones, Jackson, and Dubuque County. And then apparently this area has a new Grant Wood director, and there seems to be some possibilities for some projects in coordination with the University of Iowa Collaborative Project too. So that's we're looking forward to that coming on. Still haven't gotten a lot of help or information back. Haven't even met the gal that is the regional food systems person. Of course, they're out of Dubuque, and she can't seem to make her way to Coconut. But board member appointments, I think we sent, Bev, I think you sent the letter up there, but some of them have not yet, so we're hoping to get those in. We worked on the budget. Preliminary, we're going to kind of zero in on that a little bit better next month, and of course our annual meeting is in March. And I don't think they were short on copies of that director's report. I don't think I got one.
I've got.
You
What are you
sent that
looking for,
around,
John?
the director's report. Sharon with. Yeah.
Activity report?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
send that around. But we're already starting to see some money coming in from the collaborative project. Of course, some of that will go back out in project expenses, but there's a dripless area symposium February 3rd and 4th in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Apparently they're trying to keep that group going and have some ideas and so forth coming up on that. And I believe, other than what you probably already covered, did you
I did not
mention
fill them in on the
motion?
decision. No,
Okay.
I did not.
The motion was made last night to basically, if a county does not contribute at the minimum of $5,000 and have active representation on a board, they will be eliminated from the RCND group. That doesn't mean that we're kicking anybody out right now, but as they go before Clinton County and Dubuque County coming up seem to be the biggest holdups. If they do not participate, they're out. There's a lot of discussion about it not being fair to those that are participating and so forth at this point. So that pretty much in a nutshell, and I know Joel's here probably to contribute. I don't know whether you've had anything to say yet.
Well, I just would very strongly recommend that you would continue the funding. I've been on that board for 15 or 20 years, and I was dumbfounded when the federal government defunded it, because there was so much stuff going on that and I looked around the table, the brain trust that the government was getting for free, and there were a lot of projects in there. Since that defunding, we've learning the process again, and we are right on the cusp of really being able to step back into it, and I think we can make some real contributions to the area, and we're seeing some very strong moving here in Cedar County, particularly with the U of I collaborative program, with the theater, with one of the things that they were asking, what can really add to the community? They want community involvement. How can we help the communities? And I made the comment, said that I'm on the front end of the age bracket now, and those that have gone past before me, their history is gone. And so the gal that was is in charge of that area, her just lit up, and she said, I'm the head of the writers' workshop, and we can really come in, particularly for some of our World War II soldiers and beyond, have a history that they've never told, and they need to be. This could be a beautiful addition to our history, our family histories. It's something that they would love to get involved with. Even some of the museums in the area could be a real asset too. So.
I did talk to him last night about our historical museum in Durant. We have a genealogical and historical museum in Durant, and we have been struggling to try and find people to help with the grant writing and to help with this kind of same thing. And so for my community alone, I'm definitely going to send them that direction, just because we didn't know where to go to get that kind of assistance. For historical museums and anything that has to do with the arts, it's really hard to find any funding. And if they can do that in collaboration with the U, then I think it's great.
That's pretty much all I have.
Okay. Jeff? No.
Oh, except for I did have an EMA 911 budget hearing, and those were approved. That's where I was at.
Everything passed on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jeff, nothing? No. I had nothing. Standard Drainage District. I need to go into that for anything. There's nothing on that. So that next secondary road facility, we'll be on that. Courthouse decisions. Wayne Lynch brought this in this morning. I'll pass it around. He's got two different estimates. If he drills a line, it'll be $10,800. But he says if they drill it in, he says there's no guarantee that it's still not going to sag. His recommendation is for option number 2 is to remove the concrete and fix the low spot in the sewer line. In other words, fill it in, fill that void in. Includes cutting and removing concrete, repairing floors, all labor and materials, and put cast iron back in. And he said the only thing that we'd have to do on that option 2 is we'd have to furnish the tile out in the hallway. That includes the bottom of the steps down there, that special floor down there. He's found somebody that would do that
So
to match that up.
There's only $2,000 difference in options?
$200.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But he did not recommend pushing that pipe through there because he says he would not guarantee that it still wouldn't sag.
Didn't he say that he didn't want to do that either?
Yeah, he really does not want to do it. He wants to go for option 2.
Well, I guess I'm not understanding where he's got option 2 at 11,000 and he's got option 1 at 10,800, and then down at the bottom it's like he's added both options together for the total.
Yeah, that, don't pay attention.
Okay, that's just an error.
No,
Okay.
we got one option to the other, yeah.
So.
That's what he explained to me this morning, so.
Well, we know what we can need to budget.
Yeah.
Well, he'd like to,
I'd say do
if
it
you're
number
going
2
to
and do
do
it
it,
right.
he'd like to get it done before spring work starts.
Well,
So-
do we have money in the budget?
We'd have to have a budget amendment when we, Gary?
No, Department 11 does have that money in there due to the insurance for employees. We had some family plans, and we actually have 2 out of the 3 employees that do not select the health insurance. So I looked at that already yesterday when I saw the figure when he called in, so I started crunching numbers, and we could do it yet this year.
Okay, because he'd like to get started this spring before his spring work starts.
Well, that's gonna be a real dirty job. I was surprised. I thought it'd be a lot more than that.
Well,
For
he
as
said it's
much-
gonna be very labor intensive because they gotta carry all the concrete out of here.
Yeah.
You know, it's breaking up the floor and everything, and he says, and I'd asked him about filling in the void down there. He says he don't know how big the void is. He said it might be 3 foot deep, it might be 6 foot deep. He don't know. And I said, well, if it needs some rock fill in there or something, I'm sure the county secondary road can haul the rock in for him, so.
You might be able to mud jacket too.
No, you can't. If he's gonna tear the floor up, why would you mud jack it?
Well, there might be more void than what we know.
So, but anyhow, that's what his recommendation is, to go with the $11,000, so. Keep that on file there. So it's up to the board what you want to do. It's not gonna get any better.
I think he should proceed.
I do too.
I move we have Lynch Plumbing go ahead and proceed with the project and have them tear up the option of tearing the floor up.
And option 2.
Yes.
Okay, the motion's been made by Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gal. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, so. Courthouse phone system, Carrie's got that in her budget. Office space, discuss that later. Local option sales tax, sales and service tax, and organizational study. You just have to tell Carrie when you want that on the ballot. Budget and funding reviews and decisions. But at this time, we should take Warren so he can go back to work. So Warren, you had something?
Well, I just wanted to, I don't know what the proper way, has concerns I wanted to voice.
Okay.
When this compensation study came out, I was told from the beginning that it really wouldn't apply to my office because everybody works off of a percentage of my income or their union represented. So, my fault, somebody's fault, whoever, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. I didn't get too involved in that. When I came up with the budget last week or the week before, I was asked if I used the compensation study numbers, and I did. That was the one I had here, and it still had the deputies at 80, Kevin at 85%, and all the others at 84, except for the ones that haven't topped off yet. I think Kime was 80 or 75%. Turned those numbers in, and then get this other one that I had to refigure the deputies, jail administrator, and office manager. And the way that calculates out, it puts Chief Deputy, Kanaki, Investigator Sergeant, and Austin Sorgan Fry all in the same pay range. When that compensation study came down, it had Kevin as having very little supervisory role, Tom virtually none. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why an investigator on days would be making the same as what the chief deputy would make. But I realized there was a procedure there where you could go back and appeal it to the comp board. Again, we were under the assumption that it really didn't matter because they worked off the percentage of my wage. Otherwise, we would have done that. The budget I turned in last week and the budget that I turned in just today, it's a difference of $24,333. And, you know, it's a lot of money on a $3.2 million budget. It's pretty minimal. You know, it's not quite a percent. I guess my concern here is, you know, these people were hired and told at the time they were hired that they would be making 84% of what the sheriff makes, chief deputy 85%. I've got some guys here that they haven't even made their steps yet. They were hired, Darren was hired at 75%. He hasn't even gone through a step raises yet, and it's going to be cut back. Not losing money, but not gaining it like he would have. Paul Keim, he's at 75%. He hasn't gotten all his step raises yet. I guess I need to know how, or I would like to know how set in stone this is. Is this, and this is all based, I realize too, if you would go with the 5% compensation comp board recommendation for my raise. But I don't think I need to be cutting my deputies back to 81%. I've lived through this before. Jones County, they gave the sheriff a huge, well at that time huge, a $6,000 raise, and cut the deputies from 84 to 82, and then it hasn't stopped since. I think they're down to 78, 79% now. So
Nobody's taking a cut in pay though.
Kevin would only get a 3 cent raise. It's not a cut. If Kevin was if I would get the 5% raise, which I realize is up in the air yet, and if Kevin would stay at 85%, we're talking a difference of, it was $2,600 for Kevin. And again, it's not right that an investigator with no supervisory responsibilities making the same as what he is.
I guess I was under the assumption, and not under the assumption, I heard it as we said it, that it was going to affect everybody except for the unions. I thought that was fairly clear, and when it came time and I'd gotten some preliminary, or we'd gotten preliminary information, and I saw that the deputies were where they were, I was totally shocked that you hadn't appealed it.
Well, and like I said, I'm not going to shift blame on anybody. If that's my fault, it's my fault. If that's the information I was given from the beginning, and it's too late now, I will throw out there that study was flawed on the law enforcement side. You know, Paul said that they took counties in a 70-mile radius. Mills County, Iowa, borders Nebraska and has a population of 4,000 people. The Jackson County, you know, the sheriff up there, they're relatively the same size. He makes some more than I do, but doesn't have a dispatch to manage. You know, there's other things that should have been taken into consideration there, and I'm more than willing to take the blame. I should have been more involved in it, but I didn't think it really pertained to us. Jones County makes more than I do, doesn't have a building to contend with. Delaware County makes more than I do, doesn't have a dispatch to contend with. And we can go back and forth. You know, I just want you to see my point here. You know, we've hired people and promised them a percentage of what I make, and I want you to, I'm not gonna sit here and say people are gonna get pissed and slam their stuff down and walk out. That's not gonna happen. I have dedicated, good people that are committed to Cedar County, but that would be a severe blow to morale to cut, in essence, cut. You know, these people are the backbone of this county. You know, it's not my or any other department head's great management skills. These are the people that make this county what it is. And I truly, I'm not saying this to be dramatic, I truly would rather I don't even get a raise than be forced to cut them back. And I realize that would mean they're not going to get a raise either, but I need to look at these people in the face every day, and I don't want to go in and say, well, you know, I got X percent raise, but to do that we had to cut you back. These people are what makes me what I am, and I don't want to leave them behind. So, in a nutshell, I guess. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Okay. Well, when we go to finalizing that, we'll take it under consideration.
Yeah, I realize there's a long ways to go, but I just wanted to take time for you to let me know how I feel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warren.
These reports sometimes, those semi-end reports go on your agenda. Whenever you.
Okay. Okay, before we take Julie, go down to the action on the semi-annual report from Board of Supervisors and Treasurer that went around. The financial reports that were sent around the other day. Does somebody have any questions on it?
Move to approve.
Okay, the motion been made by Bell that we approve them. Is there a second to the motion? Second. Second by Kaufman. Roll call. Bell.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Gal.
Aye.
And Dearborn, aye.
And did everybody
Huh?
Somebody has to sign that one.
Everyone needs to, the auditor will sign, and then the board signs down below there.
Wayne,
Yes.
in regards to these semi-annual reports, and that, do we ever get to see those, or is that on the internet, or?
They're put in the paper, aren't they? Yep. They're
Well,
published
actually,
in the
that's published.
I send it to the paper every year after they
Yep.
approve it, it's in the paper.
Yep, it's in the paper. Okay, Julie.
There's two of them, actually, the treasurer's and the board of supervisors, but they'll both be in the paper.
Good morning. Morning. I'd like to request a closed session for a consumer update.
Okay. Does somebody want to make that motion?
I make a motion that we go into closed session for a consumer update. And is there a particular chapter that falls under?
21.51A.
Did you get that?
Okay. Motion's been made by Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gal. Roll call. Smith.
Aye.
Gal.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
And Dearborn, aye. Closed session at 9 o'clock.
I'm gonna shut this